Welcome back, guys, to another Minecraft video. Today we're going to be talking about kind of what the community has been saying about factions. This isn't a standard video I'm doing. This is kind of like a community involvement, what you guys think about factions, especially hardcore factions. Most of my audience, of course, is hardcore factions, and in this video we're going to be talking about basically what's factions, how is it doing, where is it headed? And a lot of people want to know, is factions dying? I really wouldn't word it that way. I'm just going to word it as like a statement, what's wrong with factions, because I've been on lots and lots of forums, and there's just a general consensus that people don't like the way how hardcore factions, it takes too much time, there's way too much involvement, you know there's it's not as fun because you have to keep working and working and working and working to keep it rolling. And people are like, man, this just takes too much time. That's only one of the problems, so I'll talk about those problems in a little bit more. But yeah, this is just me as a member of the faction community, just kind of um, trying to get a dialogue basically of how factions is going and what we can do as a member of the community to help, to rework it, to fit it how we need it to fit. Because we can't keep, on forums you see, implement this, put this plugin, take out this, um, you know, all sorts of different aspects, which being a server owner is a nightmare of, you know, trying to balance all those variables and make it work. So that's kind of the gist of it. Is like, most people is hardcore. I kind of wanted to say this before. I have said this before. Is like, is hardcore factions too hardcore? Because we all know how cannons have evolved, and it's just made the game where you have to spend basically 24/7, building walls, get enough money for TNT to, you have to be online when they're not online to raid. It's just so much involved, and you have to be in a big faction. There's so many different things that is you really have to be involved, in the game to actually succeed in factions. So that's kind of why people are wondering, like, geez, I can play, CS:GO or Rust or any other game that you can play a couple hours and have a ton of fun, but in factions you have to spend a freaking 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to get a proper base going, to get TNT rolling, creeper spawners and all that to have a successful faction. So yeah, I'm gonna mostly encompass hardcore factions, but I'm gonna try to talk about other faction servers and how it's mostly the same. So I'm just a member of the community. I'm nothing special. I'm just, here to open that dialogue between, what the community really, really wants in a faction server. So, that's that's what that's kind of why I did Faction Academy, and I learned so much. I thought I had these grand ideas to make this awesome community-based faction server where everyone was helping. Like, I did that in a way, but only on the very brink of it. Like, it's so hard to implement everything, especially, if you're on a budget. It takes so much time to get all these plugins and, all worked out. And, it's a lot harder being a server owner than I ever imagined. So I just want to put that out there, especially when, factions have so many problems, and, you know, it's not getting fixed, and that's kind of what we see on forums and stuff. So um I want to go on, Guntroller. I'm not picking on any of these servers, like, I'm not going to single them out, but Guntroller is a perfect example of a hardcore faction server because it's beloved. It was one of my favorite servers for, I think, Guntroller 3.0 and 4.0. I was just in love with this server. I absolutely love. That's when the major changes was happening in the faction community, especially with cannons, and lots of defenses were happening, like the lava flow and lava regen, and like all sorts of different ideas about how factions, defenses and cannons and attack and defense. And this is just like a regular this is a highly evolved hardcore faction server, and it does everything right, but at the same time almost everything wrong. Like, it's very hard to explain that. So let's just go, I guess, into the details of you know hardcore factions. Most people don't want to spend, like I said, like a month building a base. Then you get raided. Then all that time, you know, of getting your teammates together and building a massive base, all that it's gone to waste. So that's why people, may choose like, the Archon or something like that, like where you can build a base, go raid within a couple of days. And that's what I actually did when I got, tired of playing factions, like hardcore factions. It's just too involved, way too involved. And another thing, like the economies on this server, like I did a little test, and I was throwing stuff to all these diamond guys, and they would just throw it back, and they gave me stuff. Like, the whole economy is pretty much broke on almost all hardcore faction servers because um, basically the donators are way too high. They have access to so much armor, and it's just, it devalues armor. That's another big reason why, I honestly don't think there should be, armor and kits and stuff like that. I think it takes away from the fun of being able to supply your own, armor. And people have, dubs and dubs and dubs of armor. That's not how factions should be played. You should be working towards everything, not just paying money and getting access to a crap ton of, god picks, god bows, god armor. There's just, that's a huge reason why I don't really like hardcore factions. And that's most faction servers. But getting to the heart of the discussion, like what people think is wrong with hardcore factions, and it's the same thing, different day. That's probably the core problem, and how much time is involved building your base, getting your resources to cannon, to properly raid. That takes so long, and that's probably the main concern people. That's why there's a huge drop of players. Like, let's see, this Guntroller used to have 200-300, now it has barely 60 people. And then yet you have a crappy server like Mineage that has 250 players. It's nowhere near as, optimized as a server, but people want to play where people are playing. And this is like the perfect example of what's wrong with factions. It's kind of funny saying that, but this is like this is probably one of the worst servers to play on, honestly. Like, I've played here. I I got on here because there's lots of people. That's the only reason why I came. It's not because of a YouTuber of Nylon. It's this server is just absolutely trash. Like, the only reason why other people plays it play this is because there's so many people playing here. And I mean, there's other reasons. A lot of, it started because of Nylon, and in the beginning he was whatever. I'm going off tangent. But the main thing about Mineage I was going to say is, people have been demanding that Mineage change. It get, a better, server host, because it runs like, a toaster. It can hardly handle this amount of players. There's just so many little things. Every faction server is like that. I'm not picking on Mine Age, but I am to a degree because it's kind of the community's fault also because people are demanding change to fix Mine Age, yet they still play here. But that's not the case for Guntroller. People are getting upset that you know things have not been changing. Map resets are only once in a billion years. It's no fun, you know, playing every 6 months on a base. Like, that's ridiculous. So, that's another big thing is, he's not taking care of business. He's not listening to the community, what it really wants, what it needs. And thank you guys for watching. And make sure you guys put in the comment section below what you guys think. Did I hit all the core problems of, factions? Um, Make sure you guys just add what other problems do you think is happening, maybe with the server owners or just gameplay features. Make sure you guys put that in the comment sections so we can get this dialogue going. In the next video, I'm going to be covering some solutions that other people and myself have been coming up to spice up gameplay and to make it not as monotonous. And I hope we can actually start, thinking of some creative, ingenious ways to get this gameplay what we all enjoy to make it as best as possible and not so laborious. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time.